on CTV News at 5.
Oh, probably about $2,000.
How do you feel about that?
Not good.
Price at the pumps. Drivers are feeling the pinch when they fuel up as prices rise once again. Vive l'Acadie, celebrating Acadian culture through music.
Showers and thunderstorms come to an end this evening with a sunny start for the weekend.
Live from the Maritimers News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Suzette Belliveau. Maria is off. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. First at 5 tonight, paying more at the pumps. If you're planning a road trip this weekend, you might want to budget a little extra. Gas prices are on the rise once again. CTV's Ryan McDonald looked at what's fueling the latest jump and spoke with drivers who are feeling the pinch. Ryan.
Well, Suzette, what people are paying to drive has been a bit of a roller coaster ride lately. It was just last week that gas prices here in Nova Scotia went down significantly. This week, well, they're right back up. People filling up at the Member 2 market today were paying more, $1.83 a litre for regular self-serve.
Well, we're on our way to Newfoundland.
This man and his trailer left Moncton recently to catch the ferry in North Sydney and then make the long drive across the Rock and back.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
So roughly how much does he figure that will cost him?
Oh, probably about $2,000.
How do you feel about that?
Not good.
Well, it's rather expensive and it fluctuates so much.
Indeed, it has. Last week, the interrupter clause was used to bring gas prices in Nova Scotia down significantly, but it didn't last long.
And we have Mr. Trump to thank for all of this. Let's be very blunt. It's outrageous.
Yeah, it's happening around the world.
Industry analyst Dan McTagg says these up and down gas prices are being caused mostly by market volatility surrounding the war in Iran. The price of diesel has gone up for the second time this week by more than 9 cents, and McTagg points out that it's 75 to 80 cents per litre more expensive than this time last year, and he predicts that gas will one day follow suit.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a scenario at some point where gasoline prices could go up in one fell swoop by 25 to 30 cents a litre.
McTagg says the other major reason behind that would be an historic drop in oil supply. Of course, people gassing up now for long summer trips may be paying more attention to the numbers at the pump than the reasons behind them.
Terrible. What can you do?
And anybody who thinks that these prices are too high and very uncomfortable, they are. But as the expression goes, you ain't seen nothing yet.
So as for what drivers might expect for now, in the shorter term, Dan McTagg is predicting a bit more of that up and down fluctuating trend that we've been seeing lately for the next little while, before perhaps eventually that big spike that he mentioned in our story. Suzette.
Not news we wanted to hear, Ryan, but thank you so much for your work today. All right, it's time now to check in with CTV's Stephanie Seacoast to see what the team's working on for 6 tonight. Steph.
Thanks, Suzette. A bail hearing for a man accused of making a bomb threat against the U.S. consulate in Halifax has been adjourned for a third time. The 54-year-old is charged with uttering threats and public mischief. Thousands were evacuated Monday from the downtown area while the bomb squad checked a vehicle. We'll have more on that story tonight at 6. Swimmers are being advised not to go into the water at 2 popular Halifax area beaches because of high bacteria levels. Lifeguards at Rainbow Haven Beach in Cow Bay and Lawrencetown Beach in East Lawrencetown will be on hand to warn people not to go swimming. We'll have more details tonight at 6. Although it's nothing like last year, most of Atlantic Canada received a below normal amount of rain during July. New Brunswick was particularly dry, especially in the north. We'll have more on those conditions tonight at 6. But as for those current conditions, we'll head over to the Weather Center and check in with Kaylin. And we did see some rainier conditions the last day or so.
Yeah, that is the benefit to these type of weather systems moving through during August. They have come in with some showers and some thunderstorms. They did receive some localized rainfall total reports, and some of the thunderstorms yesterday, some local amounts at least, approached or exceeded 40 millimeters. The only issue with this type of summer weather is it tends to be a little bit scattered across the region. It's not blanket coverage. Now, we still have some showers and some thunderstorms ongoing this evening. evening. We have some severe thunderstorm watches posted for parts of the east and southeast of New Brunswick, and in Nova Scotia, parts of Cumberland and Colchester counties, around the Minas Basin, and then into Hants and Kings counties as well. The bands of showers with a risk of thunderstorms have worked their way from the east a little bit further towards the west as we've gone through the day, but any further active thunderstorms are expected to come to an end as we make our way through this evening. You can see the coverage of the showers and thunderstorms is still pretty scattered here on radar, but at times some of the thunderstorms have had downpours along with the lightning. The reason why it's been most active around eastern parts of the Maritimes for today is because that part of the region is sitting in a trough of low pressure. It's off a low pressure system that's centered on the south coast of Newfoundland. Now that continues to move away from us for tonight and is replaced by high pressure moving in from the west. Taking a look at current temperatures right now, if you're heading out this evening, you're mostly headed out to temperatures that are around the high teens and low 20s. And the winds right now for the Maritimes mostly out of the northwest and being sustained between about 10 and 25 kilometers per hour, with a few gusts getting between 20 and 40. The one currently at the Halifax International Airport being reported at 50 kilometers per hour. I'll have more in the forecast, including the weekend ahead, when I'm back later on. Suzette.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. All right, CTV and Dartmouth Crossing want your family to start the school year off in style. One lucky viewer will win a back-to-school shopping spree to stock up on fashions, accessories, sneakers, and more. The prize package includes $1,000 in gift cards from Dartmouth Crossing businesses, plus a night at the Hampton Inn by Suites by Hilton. To enter, go to ctvatlantic.ca or click on the QR code on your screen right now. You see it right there. We'll announce the winner Friday, August 21st. Good luck. Still to come tonight, Kaylin brings us the all-important weather forecast ahead of the weekend. But coming up next, welcoming the country's top minor lacrosse players. The 2026 Minor Box Lacrosse National Championships are in our region this week. We'll check in to see how the tournament's going. Stay with us, CTV News at 5. We'll be right back. It's an exciting week for lacrosse players, their families, and fans as Nova Scotia hosts the 2026 Minor Box Lacrosse National Championships, bringing thousands of people to the province for the 5-day tournament. Joining us this evening to discuss the excitement and the impact is Charlotte Henderson, president of Lacrosse Nova Scotia, as well as a coach for one of the Nova Scotia female teams. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for coming in tonight. I know your schedule is nuts. We really appreciate the time.
My pleasure.
So first of all, Charlotte, I want to talk about the impact. This is huge. This is your second year hosting this. What is that like for Nova Scotia and for the city of Halifax?
It's pretty awesome. You don't want to reduce an event like this into just economic impact, but we figure there's about a over $2 million economic impact for the HRM, which is obviously a phenomenal thing for the city. But as a lacrosse person and coming from, from that community, obviously the biggest, most important piece is the impact on the lacrosse community, being able to show off the facilities, being able to show off our city, and then of course being able to show off the absolutely amazing lacrosse that we have here. And it's just such a phenomenal opportunity to show, especially younger players, but also the families and friends of the players that are on our team who might not get to travel to nationals normally, to see that high level of play and really just to be able to show how much lacrosse is going and what a cool, accessible sport it can be for younger players.
Amazing, yeah. And you said, Charlotte, you alluded to it being an amazing sport here. It really is. Since the pandemic, I've noticed lacrosse has grown immensely here. Having the professional team, the Thunderbirds, I'm sure, really helps, absolutely, no doubt. When you look at the sport and you look ahead to the future, what are your hopes, your goals for growth in the game?
I mean, obviously, it's easy to say we want to see it grow, but I think, not to turn it back to the Thunderbirds, one of the things I used to joke about is, with the first season I was there going to games, you'd hear a lot of people yelling things like icing, and a lot of people equate lacrosse to being kind of hockey, but not on skates, when in reality it's a very, very different sport. And so obviously I'd like to see growth. I'd like to see a lot more people playing. I'd love to see more growth on the female side too. But I think the biggest thing is just bringing awareness to Canada's national summer sport and getting people to recognize that lacrosse, like any sport, is really its own unique and awesome sport.
Yeah, well said, Charlotte. Now, as you mentioned, and I just recently learned this, I will admit, lacrosse being Canada's national summer game. Very cool. And this is something I also just learned. It's heading back to the Olympics in 2028.
Sure is.
For the first time since 1908. Wow. How exciting is that for you? How does it change player development for our Nova Scotia athletes? How are you planning for this?
It's a good question. It's obviously hugely exciting. And again, when we go back to the concept of getting more eyes on lacrosse and just bringing awareness to the sport as its own unique sport, that's going to be huge. Developmentally in Nova Scotia, even though we're a smaller province, we punch above our weight, if I can say that, in terms of competitiveness. So it's very exciting to sort of have the opportunity to potentially see some of our athletes hitting the global stage, the international stage in 2028. A lot of the drive, though, here comes from getting sticks in hands at the younger ages and starting that skill development early. In order for kids to become Olympic athletes, they need to get those skills and those habits, those good habits, instilled early. And more than anything, they need the love for the game to be instilled early. So starting them off as early as possible, growing those younger ages, and just expanding and growing the quality of the sport that we can provide in the provinces is really where our focus is.
Amazing. And I do see that love growing in many youth, my friends' kids, them playing now.
Yep.
Charlotte, very, very quickly before we go, where can people watch the games? I know the finals are tomorrow, so where can people see the games?
The finals are tomorrow. We've got games going on at the RBC Centre and at Greenfoot Energy Centre. Good games in both those places. It is entirely free, so if you want to come see some good lacrosse, definitely worth checking out.
It sure is. Thank you, Charlotte. I know you've got more to do tonight, so we won't hold on to you any longer. Congratulations again on this
tournament. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. All right, we're going to turn our attention now to meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell.
Oh, I love a good lacrosse game. For weather today in the Maritimes, it depended on where you were. Eastern parts of the region were contending with showers and thunderstorms. The sunniest conditions were in western areas of New Brunswick and southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. Looked like a pretty nice beach day, though, here at East Berlin in Nova Scotia. I will have more in the forecast coming up after the break.
When young people need someone to talk to, Kids Help Phone is there. Grab your golf clubs and support mental health in your community. Join the Kids Help Phone Golf Classic September 24th on the links at Brunello. To get involved, go to kidshelpphone.ca.
Welcome back. Time now to check in with Kaylin for the all-important forecast. Happy Friday, Kaylin.
Yes, TGIF. It was a busy Friday here in the Weather Center, keeping track of thunderstorms in eastern parts of the region, though I have a very sunny weekend forecast to talk about. And before we get into the details of that, well, just before the break, we had the beach at East Berlin, and now here's part of the fishing community at West Berlin. We can see a couple of the boats there down by the dock as we see our sunrise and sunset times for the provincial capital regions of the Maritimes. Let's take a look at our weather systems map. We talked a little bit about this earlier in the program, but the reason why it was more unsettled weather conditions for eastern parts of the Maritimes today was because that's where a trough of low pressure was hanging back from a weather system that's centered near the south of Newfoundland. Now that system is moving a little bit further towards the east, and behind it we have this area of high pressure that's going to be moving in from the west, and that's going to be bringing us the opposite effect. It's going to be bringing a downward motion on the atmosphere. It's going to be clearing the skies out as we move through tonight, and it's going to give us a very sunny Saturday. In the meantime, though, for this evening, we still have some scattered showers. Within those showers, some brief thunderstorms, and some severe thunderstorm watches remain in effect for parts of the region around the east and southeast of New Brunswick and a few areas in the north of Nova Scotia. Along with the lightning, some of these thunderstorms have been able to produce some downpours. Now this is going to be winding down as we make our way through the evening and nighttime hours, because a lot of it was fueled in combination with that trough of low pressure by daytime heating. So we're losing that as we make our way through this evening and tonight, and so those showers and thunderstorms begin to come to an end. And then either clear or clearing conditions by the time we get to around and after midnight, and a very sunny start to the day on Saturday. And Saturday's forecast is basically sunshine from start to finish, and very clear conditions expected Saturday evening and Saturday night, and Sunday a little bit of cloud cover coming in from the west, but it's just enough to give us more of a fair weather mix of sun and cloud for the end of the weekend. Let's take a look at the winds in the forecast. And for tonight and for tomorrow, they remain mostly out of a north and northwest direction. They'll be sustained tomorrow, 10 to 20 kilometers per hour, with a few gusts between 20 and 40. Since these winds are off the continent right now, they are bringing in some drier air, so humidity really not going to be an issue for us here in the Maritimes as we move through the weekend. Let's look at the low temperatures in the forecast for tonight. Pretty comfortable for most of the region, with lows down to around the low to mid-teens. A little bit cooler than that up around the northwest of New Brunswick. Edmonton tonight with a low temperature down to around 10. And here's a look at the high temperatures in the forecast for Saturday. And you can see very pleasant. Most of the high temperatures will be around the mid-20s, low to mid-20s on parts of the coast, as well as areas of Prince Edward Island and a few spots in Cape Breton. And then here's the forecast for Sunday across the Maritimes. It's a fair weather mix of sun and cloud. Winds will be relatively light, and high temperatures once again will be mostly around the mid-20s, with a few spots closer towards the low 20s, including Charlottetown, Sydney, and Yarmouth in the southwest of Nova Scotia. Then there's some changes ahead through the start of next week. That's when our next weather front will be approaching from the west, and this one too looks like it's going to be bringing us some showers. Expect those showers to develop through the day for the province of New Brunswick and through southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. The rest of the Maritimes will get into the shower activity as we move through Monday evening and Monday night, but in some cases, those showers are expected to linger into Tuesday. Let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from 8-year-old Takai from Bell Park Academic. Takai has sent us a drawing of being on the beach watching some swimmers and boaters. Thank you very much. It's a great drawing. And weather watchers can come in anytime to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Suzette.
Thanks so much, Kaylin. Well, a Saskatoon boy is being recognized for his bravery after warning his neighbors about a fire. CTV's Stacey Henton reports.
Jace was playing in his front yard when he saw flames at the house next door. The 7-year-old got someone to call 911, then ran 2 houses down to warn his neighbor, Connie Seibel, about the fire.
And me and my brother shot it together. And I went and told the lady.
Why'd you go and tell the lady?
Because it's a big fire.
The fire, which is still under investigation, broke out around 7 p.m. July 31st in Saskatoon's Mayfair neighborhood. Seibel says she was surprised to hear a knock at her door that night. It was Jace there to warn her about the fire.
He said, "There's a fire next door." And I said, "What?" And he just said, "There's a fire next door." So I went out and I looked and went, "Oh yeah, there's a fire next door."
She says the house on fire next door was vacant, but the flames eventually spread to her home. Thanks to Jace's quick thinking, Seibel and her 91-year-old mother, who has limited mobility, were able to get to safety.
It's amazing what kids have learned or will learn or have been taught, and how automatic that they kick into action when they have to.
Others in the neighborhood were also impressed by Jace's actions.
It's just great to hear that kids are still willing to go out of their way to make sure people are safe. It's always good to know that there's still a Spider-Man looking out for the community, right?
As his neighbors recognize his bravery, Jace says he feels good knowing he was able to help. Stacey Hein, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A remarkable story. All right, still to come, we're celebrating l'Acadie.
And so this Great Time Festival is kind of a moment in the year for them to proclaim very loudly and proudly that they are Acadian, they have that heritage, and to get in contact with those roots.
All right, as many Acadian communities gather for Le 15 Août celebrations, we visit the sights and sounds of a concert in Halifax. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
With Aaron and Peter. 10 questions, 60 seconds. If you know all the answers, you're winning $1,000.
We play $1,000 Minute every weekday at 7 a.m.
Welcome back. Well, the rain didn't dampen spirits at a special concert celebrating Acadian culture in Halifax. CTV's Jim Quammen brings us the sights and sounds of Le Festival Great Time.
If it wasn't for the Mi'kmaq, we would not be here. They helped us in so many ways. They helped us when we arrived. when they arrived here on the continent and to survive, and also they helped us to survive during the deportation.
Acadie is often seen for its history, so we learn about it in school, but we don't learn about what's going on today in Acadie. So that's what we're doing here today. So we're showing that Acadie is alive, it's vibrant, it's colorful. You can rock in Acadie, you can dance in Acadie, you can eat wonderful food in Acadie. So we're here to show it to everyone. Everyone is welcome to attend, and it's completely free. I think what's really important to note is that we have a lot of Acadians who have lost their language with generations. So they have Acadian heritage, but they don't speak French. And so this Great Time Festival is kind of a moment in the year for them to proclaim very loudly and proudly that they are Acadian, they have that heritage, and to get in contact with those roots. Music is life in Acadie. Music is how we share love. It's how we share our stories. It's also how we show passion for our heritage. So I would say, and as we say, music is kind of a universal language. So even when you don't understand the lyrics, you understand the passion and all the sentiment behind it. So absolutely, music is a huge part of our heritage, and it's something we definitely want to share with everyone. I know a lot of people become Acadian through their experience. So I would say it's an international community that's extremely welcoming. As long as you have a good heart and good intentions, you're welcome in Acadie.
Oh, so much fun. So many celebrations taking place across the Maritimes tomorrow, Caitlin, for National Acadian Day. The weather's going to keep up. It'll be good.
Yeah, it sure will. I mean, we're getting through the unsettled conditions that we've had at the end of this week, the showers, the risk of thunderstorms as we make our way through this evening. And then in behind it, we have this big area of high pressure moving in, and that's going to be firmly in place for Saturday and bring basically the entirety of the Maritimes a sunny day. A bit more of a fair weather mix of sun and cloud coming up on Sunday. And then after that, for those who are looking for more rain in the forecast, the next chance of showers is coming up through the first part of next week. And I will talk more about that coming up at CTV News at 6.
All right, we look forward to that. Your national news starts now.